I don't know, this thing's so funky, but I've been looking at them and they all seem to be the same. They all have this same thing. This one attachment thing I used to use, um, but it doesn't, I don't know, because I used to attach it below the light. And so now it's like weird. It's like hanging out of the light. But I don't know. This is how all of them are. So I don't know how, I don't know. TikTok shop, I guess. Go find some. I swear to God, that's all that fucking TikTok is now. It's TikTok shop and a bunch of people who are on there trying to get famous doing the same shit. The whole fucking, I can't even tell you. And I swear to God, most of them aren't even good lip syncers. They're not even good at it. It's like, dude, like, I'm glad you're having fun and everything, but Jesus Christ. But, fuck, isn't there anything else that is entertaining? There is one person. And I used to, it's weird. It's weird how you see these different sides of people coming out. It's so trippy. But, it must be all day long. She just must sit there. As soon as she finishes one, she must just put on another one. And I had seen one day somebody, she was responding to a comment where somebody said, you do this too much, or you put way too many, or something like that. And she just, snubbed them. And then, but then I started seeing like, fuck, it's like so many. It's just like every time you're going through, it's a commercial, commercial, commercial. Then you got this one, lip syncing, lip syncing, lip syncing. I can't, it's crazy. But, and they just like to put on filters. They all just want to put on these filters. And again, yesterday I saw another girl, because now this bold glamour filter. And oh, they just love the bold glamour, and it's done something else. But this girl again, who is always out there, I'm trying to think if she always is talking about spiritual stuff, or if she just talks about stuff that's happening in the world. But because there's difference in how people approach and look at things. But whatever, she put the bold glamour filter on, and she said again, well, God must know what he's doing, because if he made me look like this, I would tear this place up. That is so many people. That is what people don't get, is having extreme good looks is a weapon. It is something you have to manage. You can't just go around fucking people's lives up because you're good looking. That is what Anna is, a template. And it's funny because, I've talked about that even when I was seeing my mom, the last visit, and she was telling me all this stuff about my grandpa and his brother, and they were both very good looking. And I was watching this old movie the other day. It was really cute. It was Natalie Wood and Tony Curtis and Henry Fonda and gosh, her name won't come to my. She was the one who is married to. She was married, Lauren Bacall, and it's cute, like silly movie back from the 70s or whatever, and but Henry Fonda, which I'm totally from, is always old. I loved watching old movies, always, and Henry Fonda, I love Jimmy Stewart, Henry Fonda, Gregory Peck, William Powell. Like, there's so many of these guys, I just love them. And Henry Fonda, I always thought was so good looking. And, but when I saw that movie the other day and he did some turn, I was like, oh, that was why my grandpa was such a hot number back then. Because he looked like fucking Henry Fonda. And Henry Fonda was good looking and women would go crazy. And it's true. You can fuck up a lot of people's lives with extreme good lookingness. So, like, you can go and just fuck people's lives up. And you can also have your life fucked up. People don't see you the way, they see what they want to see. And so then they can decide who you are and try and make you be somebody different than you are. Like, the whole thing, it's all lessons. People don't realize, like, it's the same thing as when they sit there thinking that they could have a different life or a better life or something. They're looking outside of themselves. They're not focused on what they have right here, right now, what you're here experiencing. And that's part of the soul's lessons. I mean, it's so prevalent. How could it not be? And, to me, it's so much about pulling in and taking control. And then, but the control that we've been led to do has been a toxic control. But we need to learn to control ourselves, not control the world outside of us. We need to learn how to do the control from within. And so, which Terry, I'm so impressed. I mean, I know that there is a bunch of you guys who really, take your healing seriously. You really go get the books. You're really trying to figure out the things that you do that are toxic so you can improve your life. And that is, that's powerful. And then to cut yourself some slack. Don't be hard on yourself. So many people, when they realize they have this dark side, because we all have it, and when they realize it, it is like a total burden. Just like what I was talking about yesterday, when somebody is coming at me, and it's a whole thing for me. And this is opening myself up to a whole public platform where I can have more people come at me than just my family, more than just my husband, more than just a boyfriend, more than my boyfriend's ex, all these different people. You open yourself up to public ridicule, to public opinion. And, luckily, for me, I understand everyone's opinion is their own unique opinion. And if somebody has a really negative, toxic opinion, it's because they've got a lot of negativity and toxicity inside of them. Because otherwise, you can look at you can look at a Todd. That's funny. I don't know what that Freudian slip came from. A toad. You can look at a toad in a swamp and see the beauty. It comes from our sight, what we perceive. We are the receivers. We are the perceivers. We are the ones who are, but the life is being projected for us because it's our approach is what we're trying to understand, what we are trying to create solutions, what we're trying to master is the mastery. And so so when you can witness yourself and you can see yourself and you're not focused on others you're not playing the victim, you're not focused on others, and you can see and you can really open your ears to hear, then you can see the things that you do. It doesn't mean you have to change who you are. But if you're going around, let's just say, you're going around in the world and you keep saying, you're just being you. You're just being you. But, we're all over the place. There is no set thing. The set thing that they're trying to make, the reason they give diagnoses and stuff is so we feel broken. So we feel frustrated. So we feel, because it's all by perspective. It's all by what you put next to it. So it just keeps you in a state of confusion and competition. It keeps you in a state of defeat, feeling down, which I just saw a thing about Julian Assange, and he's really feeling down. I think, we should all probably send him some positive energy. Fuck. They did the same thing to the January SIX people too. They just arrest them, hold them. It's the corruption is so beyond. It's like when you really start understanding and realizing and paying attention what's going on, the corruption is like the only thing that has changed is the clothes that we wear and shit. We're still fucking peasants being shit on by these people. It's been, so and there's not even that much improvement in like our cars, and it's aggravating. So but luckily we're at this time where we're going to experience this giant quantum leap, this giant step forward. So it's exciting. Plus it really, really seems to me that it is so significant. Man, my nose is running like crazy. I do feel better on my joints and stuff, but I did with those cleansing baths last night. And so my joints feel better. That's for sure. I still am super stopped up and headache and stuff. So I don't know. The stuff they dump on us, and then last night there was a whole weird thing that happened, and then it got real foggy again. And Stella went out for a while, and then she came back in. And I looked out, and then it's been raining and raining. So it's like they fumigate, and then they rain, and then this stuff comes down. And this stuff is supposed to last. It's supposed to make you feel like you're sick. So you go to the doctor. Like, I'm just not going to go. And I'm not scared to die. So I'm not, no, I'm not trusting them. I'm trusting nature. I'm trusting, my chest is super tight, super tight. Let me think. Yesterday when I had to stop, all of a sudden it was like something just clawed in my throat, and oh my God, I coughed and coughed. It was tears running down my eyes. This has happened so many times lately. Just this total cough attack where I'm like, okay, maybe this is it. Maybe I'm just gonna cough myself to death. It's fine. Let's go. I'm not scared to die. There's nothing to fear because death isn't real. Like, as soon as you start realizing it's just you leaving this storyline, that it isn't anything to fear, then it takes away a huge hold that they have over you. Because that's one of the main holds that they hold over people, is their fear of death. And they tell them, they've created this really scary scenario about what's going to happen. You have this guy up there, he could send you straight down to hell. And then there's people that just give up. They're just like, fuck it, I'm going to hell anyways. I may as well have fun while I'm here and just cause chaos. And that's what they rely on. They want us to be godless. They want us to not feel because you can feel it inside you. Like I've said before, you don't need a book to tell you not to kill people. It's written right inside your soul. And when people go and do it, I think some of the people, the dark energy is so loud in their heads that that's all they can hear, and they enjoy that. They enjoy that. That's a big energy charge they get. This person's fear, this drama. The dark energy loves the drama. They love that. That's what they feed off of. So, these people, and then a lot of these killers, you can't even fucking just categorize them, because there's so many who are MK Ultra. There's one I just heard, and they were saying it was a woman from some kind of mental illness or something. So that's what I've been saying. That's a part of their funneling system. They're going to make sure that they catch those ones so that they can twist it up and send them out on their way. It's all on purpose. It's all done on purpose. So and they create mental illness on top of it, and then they feed it. They make it. It just really gets me going. Like, just really aggravating. I mean, especially when I just start seeing it, it just starts opening up. And then one weird thing too is, like, lately I just keep getting snapshots of my life. Just these snapshots, these smells and stuff. It's really weird. So I don't know if other people are having like this reliving their life without even, it's just these things just keep popping in, and it's just weird. And maybe it's my memory firing back up. I don't know. Maybe my brain is healing as I raise my vibration, is just healing myself and doing as much detoxing as possible. It is also healing my brain. I know my eyes are healing. I still can't see good, but how much better it's gotten, it's like, look, I'm just so much happier just doing that. But I know that, they'll get better still. Is there still something in there that keeps interfering? And I think it's, that's their nanos or something. That junk, because when I feel those things crawling around on my face, they always try and go in my nose and in my eye. I don't even know if they go in my mouth. I don't ever feel that. But here, this whole part doesn't have nerves, or it has. They broke the nerve thing when they put those implants in. They had to put the implants in because the dentist broke my teeth doing a root canal. And then, so then they were putting the implants in, and the implants went bad, and the whole thing, anything from Western medicine has tried to do to fix me, has always broken me worse. Every fucking time. It is not a surprise at all that I would go in to get this surgery. I have to have a hysterectomy. Now to find out, I could have been using herbal teas to get rid of my fibroids and all this stuff. I didn't even know anything was wrong because I had already got cauterized from another procedure, because I had been dealing with these things for so long, because I always had that cyst problem where you grow tons and tons of cysts on your uterus. I mean, on your ovaries. So I always had cysts, 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 cysts. And that is an interference from them, you know, as them interfering with our stuff. Like my body is always giving signals back all the time, you know, and but even when you are like they're just, there's a part where we just don't know. Like we don't know about herbal stuff anymore and stuff. I mean, it's the way of the world. You go to the doctor fixes you, the doctor does it, you know. We've been so trained so quickly. And so in just a few generations, they turned us into a bunch of dumbasses that depend on them. But it's up to us to see it. It's up to us to pull free. It's up to us to go back and start looking at, well, what did the people used to do? Like just when I look up, like what did people used to do about cleaning their hair? You know, you look it up at different times, it's different. And you got to remember it's different from different cultures, different things. And they are so much trying to start some shit here. It's so fucking obvious. And I mean, I know that they've got a lot of these people, these patriot people who are just, you know, on the edge of their seat, who are just fucking hostile and pissed off and really pumped up. And, you know, they go out and they start trying to be involved in this stuff because it's like, it's the same thing as when we go back to 2020 when they had the Tifa and the MLB, those two groups, and they were out in the streets. They had, and then they were also, you know, having a made up group, a group that they said was the Patriots or something. Maybe it was when Patriots started becoming a thing. Yeah, so they start MAGAs or something. I don't know what they call them. But so they had a whole made up group that they were out there doing all this stuff. But fuck, when you were on Twitter and you saw those live videos, fuck, it was just exactly the same shit as what they've got going now. It's these paid groups of people that come and they are the instigators. They're the chaos creators. They're the ones to get the party started. That's what they want, is they want this party to get started because they're ready to roll in. They got their fucking, and the way, you know, terrorists and shit work, you know, some of those instigators are full on trained. Like they know what the fuck they're doing. You don't want to be out there interacting with these people. I mean, there's already videos going around that are horrendous, I guess, is that one group is stealing, going in and taking this other group and taking the children and the women, and then they're doing videos of, you know, that they used to do, I don't know, 20 years ago was those videos or something. I don't know. I have no track of time. But we all remember the steak knife videos. So so they're doing that again. Because I said everything is going to get so much more outrageous, so much more hellacious. It's so absurd. It's just so, it's outrageous. It's insane. And then when you even get to the point of like, you don't even know what's real anymore, what's really happening, what's not really happening. You see all these people interacting to all this stuff. And that's where, to me, you really got to pull it into you. You got to pull it into what's happening in my right here. What can I see? What is happening around me? That is what I've got to focus on. Because, yeah, everything else is an illusion. Everything else is someone else's movie. Everything else is someone else's story. Those stories are playing out because they have to. They have to go full circle. These things have to keep going full circle. And it's so crazy is like, I kept seeing some of these things and I see them, you know, and I don't know. Like, when I kept saying, like, don't go out to these big concerts and shit. Don't go. And then at the Burning Man one where I was like, this is fucking, they got trapped. People are contained. This is so dangerous. And I kept seeing it and seeing it and seeing it. And then that's what they did over there. When they went into the attack, they attacked an outdoor, all these kids out dancing and singing to music in this big festival. And it was a huge slaughter, supposedly. And I've seen the video of them, you know, running. I've seen videos of people talking about what happened. They were hiding in bushes and stuff. They were just listening to all the shooting, and I don't know, it was like 650 kids, I think, killed at that thing. So, and then, I keep seeing it's going, and I see a lot of stuff going on over there. We're huge groups of people. The thing is over here, whenever I'm looking like in America, it always pulls me to these disasters on the West Coast. I always just see it. There's these disasters on the West Coast that are going to be going, but these chaos parties that they're trying to create in these big cities. See, I've been saying the big cities are going to get more and more and more dangerous. But if people are living in the big cities and their soul is not just eating at them to get the fuck out of there, you're in total danger, then it's part of your experience, it's part of what you're there to experience. And I don't know what the experience is going to entail. I mean, so many people don't have any clue of what's going on. They're just like oblivious, but they're getting caught on. Like yesterday, my daughter sent her some TikTok. I don't remember what it was. And, it was how to make almond milk, how to make, nut milk is, you get coconut cream, I think it was coconut cream, and then you put all the nuts in, and then you add water or something. I can look it up or whatever if somebody else wants it, but I sent her this TikTok because then you can make your own nut milk, and she always gets nut milk, but it's full of a bunch of toxins and shit, so it's way healthier if you just make it with this this technique. Make your own nut milk because of all of the additives, and they put in a bunch of glycerin. I'm sure they put in pink goo. I mean, everything is to fucking get this shit in on us because they've got a lot of bodies to get rid of. Like, what are they gonna do with them? There was one fucking morgue place or mortician house or whatever the fuck those places are. They just got busted, and the people thought that their people were being, I think this was a place. Maybe it was a place. There's so many horrific stories that you can go and you can take your person. And this is what fucking pisses me off too. Because when you understand about why they invented cemeteries, because when we used to go in and bury our people on our land, which was our land, it was our space, it was the place that we took care of. It was our family's plot. It was our family's land. That's how it was all over the place. And there was fights for land, and those all had to do with all these rich people. And the corruption is just, it's always been. And America is built on it. And so then, but that made that land yours forever with your family. That's why all of these territories and stuff where we keep seeing all these Indians and stuff are native people all saying about what they're doing. They're all in their ancestry land. They all have their ancestors. And now they're trying to, do pipelines through their burials and stuff like that. Because, land value, you got to do what you got to do. They don't give a fuck. And, but see, that's what makes it their land. This is their land. This is where their ancestors, and that's the same with Hawaii. And that is why they've got fucking, just mass murder is to take the stuff. And I don't even know how the fuck all that's going to play out, man. I mean, are they going to find more and more of the kids and their parents? Are like, some of this stuff is so fucked. So horrible to watch. Because it's just like, all the people that it's happening to, they don't remember. They don't remember what's happening. But it's part of the thing. You have to be impacted by it, but it's hard to watch, man. And that's the thing, too, is David Wilcock was on yesterday live. Or was that Sunday? I think he was on live. Fuck, what happened yesterday? I don't even know. Yesterday seems like a blur. I don't know. But when he was on live, I went on a listen for a sec. And then I just was like, ugh. And I love David Wilcock and Corey Goode. They're a part of my, the history of my knowing. I mean, they're a part of, if you followed stuff about UFOs and stuff for any period of time, like, you got to know who they are. And so, I love those guys. I used to always look forward to watching him live, but I just wasn't into it. And his hair was bugging me. It was reminding me too much of that fucking weird polygamous guy with that hairdo. It's like, David, I know he struggles with his hair. He's always had that crappy hairline, but he, I don't know, maybe some castor oil, maybe just, grow a beard and shave your head. Who cares? Just change your look up. But he keeps trying to hold on to that young surfer blonde boy look. But, I mean, he's been in the spotlight for a long time. And I think when people are in the spotlight, especially people who are young and stuff, people want to keep them that way. People can't accept them changing or something. It's like, you're trying to change a character I'm trying to hold on to. It's like, you gotta, the character is separate. It's not the same. And so, I don't know, but you want to be able to go and change and stuff through your life. You don't want to always be the same. You want to grow. But there is, I mean, there's people who hold on to the past. They're scared of aging. Like Jamie Lee Curtis made this big deal about Pamela Anderson. Went to, I don't know, a French, maybe it's like the big fashion week or something in France. And she went and she didn't wear any makeup. And I think Pamela Anderson is way more beach girl. I don't think she's as all makeup-y now. And so I see these clips of people sharing this stuff, or it's promo. I mean, fucking TikTok's all promo. And so she was saying that, that she didn't really want to wear a bunch of makeup because she wanted the outfit to be center stage. But she also is like, to her, as she's aging, it's like less is more. And that's the same to me. It's like when you put on makeup, it just looks weird. And so to me, it's just like, I don't know, being more natural seems like, I don't know, it just seems more natural. It just seems more like just be yourself. And don't try and hold on to this young version of yourself, which is so many, that's a definite split in the age part, which I think ageism comes from the people aging, honestly, because you see this desperation to hold on to something of a younger version of yourself, and are down on yourself for aging, and give up on yourself, don't even care about yourself. Don't put any effort in. Why bother? I'm fucking old. And people start doing that at such a young age. And you got to care more about yourself. You got to see the value of you. And you continue to care about yourself throughout. You don't just give up on yourself. And so, but that is a personal journey in its own self. But trying to hold on, to, what you were. And that is what, you have all these Hollywood women who just fill their faces full of chemicals and all sorts of fillers and shit when you don't even know what the hell is going to happen with this stuff. Like, ugh, I wish I would have known how. I tell people, if I hear somebody say they're going to get implants, I always say, oh, don't do it. Don't do it. But there's some people who overlook that part because they are looking at some other thing. They want to, have big cleavage, and that's all they care about. So they don't notice the other discomforts about it or something, but yeah, that's not my thing. So, but yeah, and how many of them are looking so weird, but in Hollywood, you don't even know. It's like, okay, well, that could just be their next clone. Just, I mean, and some of those people are experimented on too. And they're just, they're kind of sold out, bought, paid for, so the system is already owns them, like the Kardashians. But anyway, so all these women who are going and doing all of this, chopping their faces up and all that stuff, instead of just taking care of themselves and loving themselves. And so anyways, that's kind of, I think, what David needs to do is just let go of that older version of yourself. Yeah, you may have been a cute, beachy boy, fun, long blonde hair guy, but now you're older and you don't want to look like that fucking guy, that polygamous guy. Him and his hair too. He is, that guy, he is, to me, he's like the kind of guy you'd see driving around in a little sports car. He's got his earring in, and there's a certain type of aging guy too. And so you get these women who just got to just doll themselves up, or put on tons more makeup. They're all turning into Dolly Parton or something. And that is, it's like, what is that? The acceptable old age looking, I don't know. I think you got to just, be you through the whole thing, and love yourself, and don't feel like you have to go put on a bunch of makeup. You can just be yourself, and not, I don't know. And then plus you'll put on all those lashes, and I mean, there's people go and tape their faces up, put on lashes, do all this. But then what happens when you take all that off? Like, if you're putting all that on, it's got to come off. So if you, and there's all these people showing like face yoga, like there's face stretching, and you do all these like stretches and all this kind of stuff, and it tightens all these muscles. And so you can do facelifts on your own face by, putting effort in, doing something like that. And not just running to medical, running to a doctor. Here, fix it for me, make me better, make me look pretty, take me back to my youth. And then the market, it profits off of our insecurities. It gets rich off of us feeling bad. It's so toxic. It's like, that is such a negative energy exchange. So that's why, we gotta have this go full circle. We gotta have it all, spin around, and get us out of this negativity that we've been willing to accept, that we put ourselves in, literally. I mean, not every single one of us was out, doing a bunch of naughty stuff, but that general energy is what has moved through society, and everybody has done some things that they're ashamed of. Everybody's done something that they're ashamed of. Everybody's done something where they thought, oh, why did I do that? Oh, and that's how dark energy just feeding you away. And I swear to God, I think that when, like young guys, when they want to have sex with a girl, and they'll just say anything. They'll say anything. And that dark energy is telling them all this shit to say. They'll say anything. Then after it's done and all of the energetic release has happened, then all of a sudden it's like, what? What did I say? What am I doing? And all of a sudden they feel like kind of naked and embarrassed, and don't, like, I don't feel that way about you, I'm not in love with you or something. And so it is that the energy that gets caught up in that it feeds it. And that is, I think, like where, you would hear, especially if you watch old movies, like, there was no way a woman, you just wouldn't go to a place where a man was without an escort. I mean, because not only was it not safe for you, but you would look like a slut, because you would know, well, it's not safe, but I did it anyways. So you were asking for it. That was the general consensus back then. Now it's like they did a little switcheroo on it. But anyways, that's all, stuff's got to play out. There's so many of these women. There's still so much hate and stuff that goes on. The people going back and forth. It's all the men. It's all the women. But so many women are good with being just mean. And, they do have a lot of, they're good with words. They're good at talking. They're good at communicating. And so they're really good at putting people down. And so they make old videos of it. Just ridicule. And they make good points and stuff. But what do you want to focus on? You want to focus on things getting better, or just keep on, saying there's no hope because you're so rotten. You're too horrible. We can't have any relationships with you. You're just too much, instead of seeing like, fuck, we've all come out of some hard shit. We've all been programmed, indoctrinated. We've all been had parents that didn't know what the fuck they were doing. And then a lot of us went out as parents ourselves and didn't know what the fuck we were doing and made things even more complicated for ourselves. So everybody is God, lots of stuff, lots of baggage, lots of things that they have to deal with, lots of their own pain, their own skeletons, their own baggage. Everybody has all of this stuff. So when we start seeing that we can make changes, we can change the way that we interact and stuff, that we can change how we talk to each other. We can change from what we want from each other. That's a big one. Ask yourself all the time, what am I trying to get from this person? Am I trying to make this person make me feel better? Because if you're ever trying to get somebody else to make you feel better, you got to use yourself to make you feel better. It is, like that girl, she's missing the point. She's really going through it, boy. And she's just one video after another. I've lost track of what her point is. If it's, she's been fucked over, there's a whole bunch. She's just spinning out on love and what does it all mean and what am I doing, and I wasted my life and I just want to feel love and I've never even gotten, it's like, spinning. But she's got a big following. I'm sure there's tons of people going through it, and it is helping them. She's playing a role, that's for sure. And so the people, there was something else I wanted to say too about that. Because the people, well, anyways, I can't remember something. I may just come back in a sec. But when we are approaching, when we are looking like what we want from another person, and you got to be really honest with yourself, There's so many people, that go and get married and start relationships, have kids, and the whole relationship is built on, not a good foundation. There's nothing solid to hold these people together. It was all superficial. They were attracted to each other. They liked each other. And everybody's like desperate for love. And everybody thinks like, well, you just go out and you just, if you have an attraction, if you like them, then you just go make it work with them. And that is when you're having lessons. You're learning. That's not true love. That is learning what love is. So you're going out and learning. But see, we haven't learned that part yet. We didn't learn that. They didn't tell us that part. So everybody's out there, but that's, they need us to get married and get divorced, get married and get divorced. And and then look at how much stuff in people's money. Like everybody who is divorced has got bullshit going on with child support on both sides. Everything is just to keep things chaotic. And if you got a dad who's paying, and then there's a problem with the mom. You got a mom who, there's whatever the bigger problem is, that's the way the court goes. It's always to set it up and make it worse. It's not to make it better. They are there to keep everything frustrating and keep us all walking on eggshells. All of us, just all the time. And everybody just beat down. And then everybody just puts on this, throw on some makeup and go out and pretend you're happy. Why? There's a part of these emo people who've got it right. Just go out and say, I'm so depressed. This sucks so bad. At least they're in touch with their emotions. They may be really down in it, but maybe if they got to talk about them more, they would get out of them. Maybe if the other people weren't so shallow and superficial and just thought putting on some lipstick would make the day better, then, we would find common ground. The ones that need to talk because they're in touch with their emotions could talk. And the people who, don't get it, maybe if they listened more, they would. We gotta turn things around. But when, the people, those of us who are, let me think. swear sometimes it's like you're just going, 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 and then all of a sudden it's like, whoop. It's like, where was I? Um, so the people and all these planes, it's so extreme how many planes we've been having go overhead. Where I keep thinking there people have got to, like the neighborhood, the people around here have got to know that we're on the edge of World War III. Like they've got to know that. And it just is weird. It's like these planes are going over. It's like, why aren't they ever coming out and looking and trying to see? Do they not even hear them? This is just, I don't know. Anyways, so if so as the person, when you are wanting something from somebody, you've got to go in and keep asking yourself, what is it you are wanting from them? Like, you got to be honest with yourself. What is it you're trying to get from them? And really go into it, really try and understand, what is it you're trying to get? What is it you want? Why is it you think you should get it from them? Go deeper into your own thought process. Don't just be on the surface. Just follow impulses, because that is low chakra, autopilot, NPC world. You don't want to be in that one. You want to be in the thinking things through, going deeper, trying to understand, because that is where you're going to catch yourself, where you're going to see like, oh, well, that why would I do that? Why would I say that? Like, there's no reason. So if I go and I take care of this for myself, then I'm going to feel better anyways. And I'm not putting my needs off on someone else. I'm taking care of my own self, my own needs. And see, that is what that one girl doesn't get, is this whole thing. It's like all these people, you need so much to make you happy. You need a big house. You need a couple cars. You need kids that mind. You need a good job. You need a nice boss. You need a husband that comes home and does the dishes. You need all these things. Then you could be happy. But the whole thing is, in like a spiritual mind, your spiritual endeavor, your journey to yourself, it's like, I don't need that to be happy. Well, I don't need that to be, I could be happy without that. I can be happy without that. I can find true happiness in myself. And the journey is to find happiness in yourself with nothing. You could have nothing and you could still be happy. That is the journey to you. All those other things are things like, well, why do you need that to make you happy? Well, why do you need that to make you happy? Well, what good is that going to do you? And we've just got ourselves twisted up. Like, we think something's going to make us happy. We think this relationship's going to make us happy. We think this person's going to make us happy. We think that person, this job, this living situation, all these different things, we think, oh, that's going to make us happy. But you got to be happy, or nothing's going to make you happy. The only way to find happiness is through you. You've got to find happiness without anything. So the real journey is not to, well, if I add on this and I add on this and I add on this, that's my journey towards happiness. That's your journey towards a superficial fear that someone's going to take your stuff from you or something. It implants you and it integrates you into this 3D matrix desire, this world of holding on. And so it's the action towards self is letting go. Let go, let go, let go. You don't need this. You don't need this person to say this. You don't need, your mom to smile and wave when she sees you. You don't, whatever the thing is that you feel, you have to have this to make you happy. The real journey is figuring out what you can do without and still be happy. So, it's this, where I keep saying everything is this changing your mindset, is looking the other direction. I find it interesting also as when I started hearing stuff about Q and whatnot back in the 2020 and stuff, when I would hear him, and he was constantly, him being the group. I know it's like a group. It could even be the quantum computer that is messaging us. But it is the Q thing. What was I going to say? RSTV. You're not allowed to say that either. There's so many things. But maybe they've laid off that one a little bit. That one you get taken down for show back. But I found it interesting how it would always say, go deeper, think deeper, go more into it, look at it from the other side. And then when you would hear all the different things, it's like, yeah, see, it is so much deeper. Everything that is happening, everybody looks at the surface. I mean, you've got people now, I mean, the arguments over who's right and who's wrong on this new one that they brought up. You got to see that this is an implanted thing. Yeah, bad things happen because they're doing it nonstop. They're making bad things happen, but there is no good or bad. This is, I mean, it's over there. It's not even it's not like one neighborhood went and attacked another neighborhood. No, it's extremists went and attacked these other people. And it's these extremists are everywhere. They're planted. We watch them walking across the borders. We don't know. There's so many coming. They're not all the same. There's lots that don't want to go, get over here and just end up dead. They want to just get over here, go find a little piece of land. They're just like us. It's the ones that have had their minds really twisted, the ones who have been prisons. When they get those people in there, I mean, it takes a strong spirit to stay sane, and that's what Assange is struggling with. It's what they break people. That's what they're trying to do. They want to create more chaos and more criminals. They want us to suffer. They do it on purpose. And then they also, they love the bonus thing is they can attack one certain group, just arrest them all and leave their wives, leave their children with no fathers, a community without a strong patriarchy, a strong, because you need both. You need the two teams. You need the AC and the DC. So they have the women is way too in their masculine. So they don't even get to know the feminine side of their moms. Like, you listen to some of these people and they'll be like, they're scared shitless of their mom. Her mom will fucking take them out. Her mom will whoop their ass. She will go to a full-on brawl. And so and that's where they get these women all in their masculine. These women haven't got to experience to get to be soft, and that's gonna make me cry. Sad sometimes when you see the pictures in your head, all the snapshots, because they carry emotion and stuff. It's just sad, and then right now I have like a lot of guys in a certain group of a certain cultural group who are really putting down a lot of the feminines, a lot of females, because things are so out of whack. There's so many that are just selling themselves as just a body, just to get somebody to have somebody. And there's so many problems, but it's all created. That's the thing. There's so many, but it's all created. Feels so much better when you can cough those stuff out. When your chest is super tight and you can't cough, it's horrible. Feels so much better to cough out all that, cough it up. It just feels so much looser, like you can breathe again. But anyways, today I am going to go out. My check did go in. All day yesterday, it didn't go in. I checked about 100 times. I did that yesterday because I was like, this is some bullshit. I don't know what the hell's going on. And I posted on TikTok about, I don't remember. I mean, there's definitely keeps being signs that this money thing. And I think that has a big thing to do with, I mean, when you see about this certain group being attacked, it's hard to not think about Finkelstein and how, but I know that these neighborhoods of people, they aren't like these people, but we are at war with the corporation and the bankers. And I mean, a lot of them are those people. So, it's, I don't know. Like, there's some of this stuff, it's just like it's above our pay grade. Like, these fights are happening, these wars are going on, as this things going full circle. These are battles that have to play out, and this is going to be mass casualties. It's all a part. Don't get caught up in the game part of it. Just keep looking at it from the spiritual perspective. These are all souls that are coming in to do this, and it's to change the world. All this is to change the world. That's what I was going to say about the coming of Christ in David Wilcock. So David Wilcock was talking about this, um, uh, what are those things called? Those big things, those field, when they go and put those big patterns. There's been so many of those. And I just always thought it was so crazy how people would try and come up with that was a scam and a scheme, and oh, it has to be farmers. And so, like, they'll come up with anything to not just think, oh, there's other beings out there trying to communicate with us. It's like, God damn, you guys, come on, come up with anything to just not go to what is the most logical. And so, whatever they are, those pasture pictures, can't think of the word now, but he was talking about this one and how it matches this eclipse, and that there's this eclipse that's going to happen on 10/14 that he says, yeah, I don't know, you could go in and watch this thing. I just saw this as a clip somebody was sharing on TikTok, so I didn't, and like I said, I put it on for a minute the other day and I didn't watch it because I don't know, it was just, if something's annoying me, I'm not going to keep doing it. So, and his hair was annoying me. And I was like, I don't want to sit here and be annoyed by his hair. I've listened to him talk for years and years and years. I already know, the stuff he says. But somebody shared this clip. And so he was talking about the pasture picture thing, whatever it is. And that that it shows that it is going to be eclipse. He said some more stuff. So he's saying that on 10/14, so what, 3 or 4 more days? Well, it'll be 10/14 in some places in 3 days, and whatever. I don't know. But he was saying that is going to be a huge event thing, which I keep seeing something is going to happen. Something big is going to turn us the other direction. Like the pole shift part of it, like the energetic turning our lives in a different direction. And he was talking about that was about to go down, and also something to do with like Libra. The astrology stuff right now has to do with Libra and the scales balancing and things having to go the other direction, because it's got to get balanced. So it's got to go the other direction now. It's got to pull in the other side to balance itself out. So the energy is got to is turning, and with the astrology and stuff, it's something about this pasture picture showing that this was a significant time that is going to happen. Something big was going to happen during this eclipse. And I don't know, when he's saying it, he's saying all his perspective and stuff. You'd have to probably go in and listen to the whole thing and see, like, oh, yeah, that makes sense, or I don't know, we'll see. Most of the stuff I'm always like, well, we'll see what happens. And there's always like a little bit, but it's not, it's like all of it goes together. But what I had kept saying before was back in 2016, when I said all this stuff was going to be happening, I kept telling my family, I would tell other people. Like I went to lunch with this, when I wasn't a nurse anymore, I lost all my nurse friends. But this was the last one, and we went to lunch, and as soon as I started saying some stuff, she was just so, like, thought I was just weird and gone crazy. Everybody just thought, I got a brain injury and I just went crazy and it just became weird and nobody wanted anything to do with me. And then, so I was just like, but when I kept saying about this time that was coming, that I kept saying it was going to be like all this come to Jesus moments, come to Jesus moments, which I completely understand what the come to Jesus moment is. The down on your knees, you got nowhere else to go. What else are you going to do? You're just at your wit's end. You're at your last straw. You don't know what else to do. There's got to be something. You reach up to the stars. You reach out to somebody who's out there, and like when you, like all that stuff pushes you to know that you have an internal side of yourself. So but that is that come to Jesus moment where everything is lost. There's no hope. There's nothing. And I knew that that's what the world was going to turn into. Everybody was going to have to come to this come to Jesus moment. And that is the coming back of Christ. That's the Christ consciousness. And he was saying that was going to be something about the coming back of Christ. But see, the way I see it, it is us. We are the coming back to Christ. We are when we all turn towards that internal being, towards our soul. That is all of us turning into Christ consciousness. That's all of us turning our minds towards God, towards Christ, towards living in a godly way. So it's us that change. That's the coming back. The coming back is the coming into ourselves, the coming back of Christ, the coming back of that Holy Spirit. It is the focus. It's like it's like we're kind of in a ritual right now of burning the old, letting go of the old, burning it, sacrificing what was the old, and we're moving into the new. So it is, that's why it's so much about shedding your old skin, the phoenix rising. It is, but it is like this ritualistic thing that's happening of shedding the old. That's why you got to be, truthful with yourself of what you're letting go of who you are, the toxic characteristics that you have succumbed to in order to survive in this game. You have to acknowledge them, and you have to receive them and understand them so that you can heal from them, because there's a purpose to them. It's not like you did something wrong. It's not like that you made a mistake somewhere along the way. No, but you've got a completion. It's like always going in cycles and circles. You've got to complete. It's like too many open windows. So you've got to go in and heal. I don't know that you can heal everything from all of your past lives, all of the stuff that has happened to you in this life. As one thing is in my stomach, like where I talked about that in that one past life. In this one, I always knew I was drawn to gypsies. I'm always drawn to gypsies. I'm super, super drawn to gypsies, and I would be super defensive if people ever said anything bad about gypsies. Always. That was one of the things I loved about the old movies and stuff, was the gypsies and shit. So I was always very, very consumed with gypsies. And then I went with this girl. She was going to get some kind of a reading or something from this lady. And we go walking in her house. I had no idea who this lady was or anything. And we go walk in the house, and she's sitting on her couch with some other person. And I'll just always remember her because she was kind of like Gilbert Grape's mom or something. And I don't think she was that big, but she was like back then, you didn't see big people. And so she was just this really huge person sitting on this couch. And I came walking in, and right away she looked at me and started talking and started telling me about this past life that I had lived, and that I was this gypsy, and that I was a jewel smuggler, and I was very beautiful, but I used my looks. This is what I'm saying, is that is a thing. Like, so I used my looks to get what I wanted. I fucked people over all the time, she said. I don't think she said it like that, but she said I was just, didn't give a fuck. I used my looks. I fucked people over, and I was criminal, and I was on a ship, and and argument with some, some corrupt person I was involved with, and they stabbed me in the stomach and they threw me overboard. And she didn't have any idea that I had these marks on my stomach. And so I had one birthmark, they're still there, one birthmark that looks like if somebody was holding a knife up against your stomach and was talking to you. And then if they pulled it back and then jabbed it in. And so right next to it is another one that's bigger. So it's like if they were standing there talking to you and then they pulled it back and jabbed it in. And she had no idea how I had such a fear of knives. Like I won't sharpen my knives and shit. People will always come. It's like, God, you got dull knives? Yeah, I don't like sharp knives at all. Never have. And they freak me out. And I almost cut my finger off one time when I was a little kid and I had a pocket knife and we're out there whittling away. I almost cut my finger off. It was like another trauma with the knife. But anyways, I've got issues all the time right there with pain all the time. It has been forever, ever since I was a kid. Horrible pain. And now, that I look at it and it's like, oh, this is something about past life. This is something because your physicality is there to help you release. And so that, I got the information, I see the marking on my body, and I got this horrible pain. So I will sit there all the time and say, show me what I need to release. Show me but you can't force anything. See, like I think that there's certain things, but also the one big factor is that when things turn the other direction, there's going to be more things to heal. It's going to be, it is all going to be on how people look at it. Confirmation. Because I look at it as like a gift. Like, oh my God, let go of that, let go of that, let go of that. And you just feel so much better. You feel so much lighter. And yeah, you got to do uncomfortable things. You got to stand up for yourself sometimes. You got to be true to who you are, true to stand, and you've got to always be thinking about how you're approaching, how you are defending yourself, how it's all this remaneuvering into feeling good about yourself and not trying to create others to feel bad about themselves, but also being able to stand up for yourself and say your truth and and then people can decide, well, I don't want to be around that person because they get their feelings hurt too easy or whatever. That's perfectly fine. You don't have to be around somebody who you think gets their feelings hurt too easy and that they, everything you say hurts their feelings. Well, then they've got healing to do and let them go at their own pace and let them heal their stuff. And, if you think that you are so right and everything you say is, nothing wrong and everybody else that interacts with you has got no problem, just this one person, then you don't have to sit there and be around that person all the time. Let that person go and do their own thing. We're all on our own journeys. And there's nobody that is, don't feel rushed. Don't feel like, oh, well, this person tells me I'm doing this and so I need to change. I need to do this different. No, you don't have to do something different. Feedback is feedback. It's just feedback. You get to process that. You get to still decide. You are maneuvering yourself through life. And that is where you got to stop thinking that you got to please other people. You got to make other people happy. Because that is a bad habit that we've all got ourselves into. Is trying to be accepted, trying to not be rejected, trying to be accepted by people and have people like us and stuff. So, then we'll bend over backwards. We'll go against our own self. We'll go against our own grain in order to make someone else feel good. And we've got to stop doing that. We've got to start being true to ourselves. And when you're true to yourself and you become more aware consciously of spirituality, then you see like everybody's on their own trajectory. They're on their own ride. You can't tell them how to maneuver their ride. It's their ride. And so, that is a part of another thing to just let go of. Like, I don't have control over other people. I can't control what goes on in their life. I can't control how they see things. So we all have to just like let go of it, and that is another thing of like where you realize, God, I was trying to control this. I was trying to control that. I needed to make this person do this and that so I could feel better. Those are all things that you do to heal. You start recognizing, like, and then you go into it deeper, like, why? Why would I want to try and make them do that? Go work your way back and you'll see, there was times in your life where things felt out of control. You felt like you had to control the people around you in order to feel safe. And then, it's just bad habits. It's toxic behaviors. It's things that we develop from toxic relationships. And we've all been raised in toxic households. I mean, there's all different ways to have a toxic household. And remember, we've got all facets, all aspects, all different perspectives. Like, they're all being played out. So all different types of toxic family situations. And they're all, there to affect us the way they affect us. They're a part of our lesson plan. And so, as things turn, is going to bring us in a whole new set of lessons, a whole new set of things to learn and grow from. And so if you're fighting it, or you're in a really bad place, like that where there's going to be a lot of people who are going to be really in an ego struggle. They're going to be really, really confused, really, really struggling. Oh, yeah. Because when I was talking to my daughter yesterday, and I was saying about that, that milk thing, and I sent her that video, and she sent back a message and said, I'm really trying to really focus on getting away from anything that has additives and stuff in it, and really trying. See, it happens naturally. Your body starts telling you, like, you don't have to keep forcing it on. Like, I send them stuff. It's not like I hide who I am. I'm sending them stuff about all sorts of stuff about the health and the toxins and stuff in the food. And I know that just annoys them. Oh my God, Mom, stop sending me all this stuff. I already know this. I think it's the conversations at work and with their friends and stuff. That's when it starts making a difference. And that's when they start being like, oh, so that's where, you can't get caught up and think like, well, they're not listening. That's not the way it goes. Like, it's definitely something I've learned through this. Just because I said it, now there's a whole new set of lessons that are going to come out of that. I know that because of so many things that I said that I was right. And so when things turn, I think there's going to be a lot of, what was my block? What was it that I couldn't hear what my mom was saying to me? And, that's going to be a part of their journey. I'll have my own things. I'll have my own stuff to heal, and maybe that's when more of this stuff about this gypsy life thing will come up, because I don't know what it is. Maybe, I'm going to have an interaction that is going to take it full circle so that will be completed. And then I will, stop having this pain. It would all depend on how I processed, how I interacted, how I did it, because how you do it, it makes a difference, and if you take time to go in and sit and process, that is your development. If you're just going around shooting from the hip, you're just being reactive. So, take all of the different things into consideration when things are happening, is to really sit with it, to process it, to go through it, to really try and understand yourself, to understand the situation, to understand your reactions. And, it's like getting down to the core of you. So anyways, when things start turning in that other energy, because I've asked and asked, to show me what it is I need to heal. And, but, when things turn and then we start having these other interactions, and, maybe it's going to be maybe the person who killed me there, because like in this one, Stella, when they showed me that Stella was this tiger that killed me way back in this life, that haunted the fuck out of me when I was a kid, or I couldn't even stand to go to bed at night, because every night this tiger would come and kill me. When they showed me that was Stella, and this incredible bond that I have with her. And so when things turn, let's just say, for instance, things turn, and then whoever it was that stabbed me, whoever it was that killed me, that I'm going to have some interaction with them, and that interaction will turn into something positive, and so I will heal from that. It's all about this forgiveness. It's all about this love, about getting over things, letting things go. Holding on to things keeps you trapped. Holding on to things are the chains that bind you. That's what keeps you trapped in the three-dimensional. Why you have to go and work it out is because you hold on to things. Yeah, and that holds your vibration down. Holding on to pain and suffering, anger, and then plus here, you got to start recognizing how much distortion, how much is created for you. So, but, and as the soul, you just got to see. This is all stuff for you to learn and heal and grow. Your soul likes this expansion shit. Your soul likes to, there's a good part of your ego too. We're trying to get in this thing of taming the ego, but the ego also is a big part of the soul feeling good. Like, the soul is happy with itself. And where you feel miserable about yourself, but you go out of there and you're not attached to this hologram anymore, and you just are your soul, then you're patting yourself on the back. You're all about, you like yourself a lot. And that raises your vibration, that it elevates you to love yourself. Crazy. But so anyways, in this time period, that's why we have all this time to work on ourselves, to let go of things, to start getting in touch with our own soul, to start understanding ourselves on a deeper level, to start recognizing that the physicality that you're here that's representing is the things you're here to work on, things that you're here to go full circle on. You are expressing yourself for a certain reason, or a certain way for a certain reason. The family line that you come through, there's a certain purpose about it all. And so you're more interactive. The more ability that you have to be interactive with your own life, the more that you can accomplish and, feel successful, feel like, you get over to the other side and you're like, hell yeah, I'm pretty good at this stuff, aren't I? I'm accomplished. I let go of stuff. I can, be, I think it is important, I don't know for sure, but I think it's important to remember yourself as a soul over everything else. Like, everything else is all secondary to the fact that you're a soul first. And when you can get into that recognition, into that reality, and you come from that perspective, you come through those doors into life, then, it gives you a different, just like I said before, I never needed a book to tell me not to kill people. Like, I don't know what other people think is written in their souls, but you have all the information is inside of you. Like, this stuff. All of these things. You just have forgotten. So it's like this getting through the corrosion, getting through like the hard edges to get in there to your memory, to your imprint, to your essence, to remembering who you are. And, it definitely, getting into that experience of understanding who you are, you have to figure out who you aren't. You have to let go of these patterns of behavior that aren't you. These response systems, these ways that you've responded to the situations that have you've had to deal with through your life existence. So it's all about this, the recognition, to see, just like going in, getting the books and reading about what is gaslighting, what is it, and recognize your own behaviors, narcissism, avoidant personalities, codependent, There's so many toxic behaviors. There's books, books, and books. There's endless books written on toxic behaviors. And we all have them. Just like we all have parasites, the same thing. Yeah, but we have to recognize it. We have to see. We have to, take the initiative to go out and seek. Be a seeker as to how you can feel better. And recognizing your own toxic behaviors is a big thing because, like I've said, you can't fix anybody else. It doesn't matter. Every single other fucking person has toxic behaviors. You can't fix them. It's not your problem. The only one you can fix is you. You can fix yours so you can go out in the world and feel better. Even if everybody else is feeling bad, you can still feel better. It's going to be, it can be exhausting because you're constantly having to put up boundaries and walk away from situations but that is the start of change. That is you being a leader, you setting a tone. The more that more that you become healthy and developed, the more that radiates out. It goes out into the other people, and then pretty soon, it's like everybody in the family, everybody in the neighborhood, because you can't interact with somebody who is not toxic in a toxic way. They won't put up with it. They'll just, walk away. So it's like that's how the standard gets set. We won't put up with being treated bad. We'll just walk away. I'm not going to try and change you. I'm not going to do any. No, I'm not going to change me, and I'm not going to change you. But I just know that I don't need to participate. And that is different also than this whole idea of somebody who did you wrong in the family at some time. To keep away from them forever is going to be your solution. Because in that solution, you're going to be holding on. You have got, fear. You got to protect yourself. You have got anger and resistance. So just think about the energies. I mean, it's simple. It's not me. It's just like, think about it for yourself. Think about what you're holding on to hold on to anger and pain and resentment. So in order to release that, you have to forgive the person. If you go around them or you don't go around them, that's going to be up to you, but you got to forgive them. And if you do go around them, which to me, depending on how violent the situation was, there's certain people, you don't go back around them. But there's other people like, if it's just somebody who hurt your feelings and you've always had issues with them or something. As you heal and you become better and you become more sure of yourself and you are better at putting up your boundaries and standing up for yourself, then it will be a totally different relationship. So don't just depend on the past as setting the standard for all your relationships. Trust in yourself that as you grow, your relationships will grow around you. So you don't have to just keep yourself in a protective barrier all the time. Like, I can't go around anybody because they may say something's going to hurt my feelings. If your feelings are getting hurt, then you got to go in and understand, what are these feelings? Why are my feelings getting hurt? And can I do something to change this? Do I want to do something to change this? And, or is this person just somebody who, like, I don't want to be around somebody who's just toxic and always just being negative and, but just remember, it's all shades of gray. If you're talking about, a family member, now it's coming up to the holidays and now it's going to be back to this, family struggles at the holidays and people don't get along and people arguing about over Ukraine and like the crazy things that people are sitting here arguing about with people that have nothing to do with their lives. It's just this created anger, created division that, and they lure us in, they hook us in with certain parts of ourselves that keep us biased and divided. So, you gotta let go of some of this shit. Like, it's fucking horrible shit going on all around us. Horrible, horrible stuff. And it's way bigger than any of the stuff for us to go in and decide who's the good guy and who's the bad guy. Like, that is way above our pay grade. So, but, when you're feeling overwhelmed and stuff like that, but a lot of those conversations you just got to let go of. Believe you me. I know. You just got to walk away. Like, okay, and a lot of times keep a journal with you so you can go in and write it down. So at least you can get it out of you. Like, when you hear people talking about a bunch of shit that is bullshit and you know it. But don't get yourself into arguments. Don't get yourself into, why. Just grit your teeth, walk in the other room, and, then go and journal it and get it out of you. But don't, confirmation, don't go out and start, fighting with everybody. So as order to, for you to get what? It's pointless. So just, you know, trust yourself as you're healing, to go out and be able to set your boundaries, and don't be mad at yourself if you get pushed over. If somebody says something and you're like, oh, okay, I'll let it slide. I'm not going to say anything. But notice all your reactions too. Notice when you're getting pushed. Notice how you're responding. Notice too, like where you are putting yourself aside. And notice when, if I would have said it 10 minutes ago, I probably would have said it a lot nicer. So think about, just you're noticing you, you're working on you. Remember, it's like you start using you as an experiment. You start going out in your interactions and you start trying a little of this, try a little of that, and work on you. Do the thing, and don't be hard on yourself. And if you do have a hard time and you do feel it goes back to just toxic, you feel beat down, and go home and write about it in your journal. Think about, what could I have done different? Think about like ways that you can approach it that would have been better. And think about the positive things, get yourself focused on, okay, well, now I saw how that went. I'm a little bit better prepared. So, next time I'm going to walk away sooner. I'm not going to, listen to somebody tell me how I should be parenting or what I should teach my kids or whatever it is, that goes on. It's crazy stuff that gets us so pissed off. So anyways, but it's up to us to start seeing, like, it doesn't fucking matter what this person thinks. If they think that, you need to do this with your kids or you need to do that, it's not their fucking business. It doesn't fucking matter. But we sit there and feel like, oh, we're rejected. They don't think we're good enough. It's like, fuck, who cares? Who cares what they think? It's their problem. It's not your problem. But we get too hung up on it, and it triggers us. It triggers our hurt feelings. It triggers us to feel bad about ourselves. And so there's a huge recognition, and stop letting people have control of you emotionally. They don't deserve your emotions. So don't just hand it over to them. Don't just think that because they think something or feel something that overrides how you think or feel. No, that's their opinion. And a lot of opinions are from broken people. So don't fucking worry about it. Especially when you're on the road to trying to heal yourself. And it's a long road. Don't be hard on yourself. It does take time. But there will be, there's obstacles. But then there's like, it gets easier and easier and easier. Pretty soon you're just like taking those obstacles. Woo, woo, woo. You're just going to town. At first when you're coming up to them, it's like knock over. Oh my God, I'm just like beat down. I feel like shit. I'm the worst person in the world. How does anyone ever even talk to me? You'll just be so down on yourself. And, then you'll be able to get over that one. And so you'll have them throughout. But as it progresses, you'll find yourself, you're just running and jumping them. Then you're just, whoo, go over one and just nothing can stop you. You'll just keep on, because you'll be defining yourself throughout. It's a development that you'll be defining yourself through the process. So it just becomes simpler and simpler and simpler as you're going. Things will just bounce off of you. Things won't get you down like they did. It's a whole turn in the management of self. And, before they even had it to, if you focus too much on yourself, you're self-involved, you're self-centered, you're self-this, you're self-that. It's not about just self. There was another weird sound outside. There's been so many explosions and shit, too. There's been so many explosions. Like, I've been on the edge of my fucking seat. I am going to go out this morning, and my check did go in. So I paid a few things, and I'm going to go out and get some supplies, and then come back and see. I mean, they've got so much shit going right now. Like, I can't even imagine that we're going to get through this week without, like, to me, it does make sense what David Wilcock was saying. Like, the 14th, there's going to be, sometime this week, there's going to be some big shit that's going to happen that's going to really start turning us in the other direction. Like, yesterday when the bank thing was going on, and I was like, okay, this is weird. So now all of a sudden we have this new Indigenous Day holiday. They're just pulling holidays out their ass. They got the cheeseburger holiday where everybody got to get down there and get your cheeseburger for free. And now we got the fucking Indigenous people holiday. And then on the calendar it said Columbus Day and Indigenous People Day. And so then I was like, Columbus Day? When was that ever a paid holiday? I swear to God that that was not a paid holiday. It wasn't a banking holiday. It wasn't a school off holiday. And so I'm sitting there thinking, you know, what the hell was that? And then for them to turn it in. So I guess apparently a couple years ago or last year, they decided, well, we're not going to celebrate Christopher Columbus because that's just mean to the indigenous people. Instead, we're going to make it Indigenous Peoples Day. Okay, so this pretend slaughter, like we know all the people were slaughtered, but we know Christopher Columbus wasn't the one doing it. For some reason, I don't know why they just pull these names out of a hat and, you know, say that this guy did it. I guess because he did it in South America, that they decided he did it here. I'm not sure where all of the distortion comes from. But so you're going to, here in America, where you tell us this guy came and slaughtered all these people, and you give him this special day of celebration. But now, because the people he slaughtered, well, we'll just turn it into their day. What? So now you're going to turn it into the name of their day where they were all slaughtered. And we're going to celebrate it. What? While you're fucking killing them right in front of us. Like, fuck the fucking, oh my God. So then I was like, you know, this is some bullshit. And then there was people like, you know, well, on Columbus Day, and it just so then there was people discussing about if it was a holiday. So some people were saying that there used to not be school during Columbus Day, like all this stuff. But all of a sudden now that there was school, but the banks were all closed. But it's right at the same time while the banks are all going down. And then so yesterday, you know, the banks were all closed. This woman in my comments, she said that she was there at the bank with a whole bunch of people, and they were all trying to get money out of the ATM, and the ATM wouldn't work for 45 minutes. It took her 45 minutes to get $40. She said it was so chaotic and so crazy. And so I don't know what today's going to be like, because today's the day that the bank would be open. So the day would be the day that we're going to see shit go down. But there's money in my account, so I'm definitely going to go try and get some cash. And I'm definitely going to go and try and get some groceries and get prepared. And so that I can, you know, sit and write it out until whatever gets done, gets done. And, you know, but you also got to be prepared. You also got to have gas and stuff in your car, because we don't know, you know, which areas are going to be under attack. You know, the whole thing is you can't just, you got to have awareness, but you can't just go into fear. But the biggest thing about not going into fear is to realize that you are eternal. This is a game. This is a movie. This isn't really happening like what it feels like. It feels like it's really happening, but it's like, because we're in a movie. It's like the same thing as like on, I think the Free Guy does so good on showing that, of like, we're waking up in a game. We're waking up in a movie. It's set, but nothing's going to happen to us. So the more that you can get into that mindset, that nothing's going to happen to you, the more you can feel calm about it. But, you know, you got to be prepared. You got to be, like Vortex said, you got to have your head on a swivel. You got to be paying attention to what's going on around you at all times. I mean, they've got people out there who, I mean, it's not even safe for women to sit in their cars, I guess, apparently right now. I mean, they're out to women and kids, you know, as a big target that they're going after. So this is just a hard time. And I swear to God, I hope it's over in the next couple days. I hope that we're at the end of this. Like, so fucked how it just drags and drags and drags. But whatever it goes on when this shit flips, it's going to have a big thing to do with the money. Like, I think that's who we're fighting right now, is the bankers, the controllers, the corporations, the ones who have got all the money, who are over us, who can go and hire these people to, they got paid security army. They've got their own army they've paid for. So they, this is who we're fighting in the world. And so certain times, you got to just see, you got to stay safe. Some of these fights are going to just play themselves out. We don't have to go out and participate in all of them. It's, some of them are going to be like the battles we're going to talk about in the future. The things that, like, we're going to be talking about this, how this played out. This is going to be a big part of human history. This is going to be huge. This is going to be really huge, like so fucking huge. So this is, this is, all the things that are happening are significant. All the people who are passing play significant roles. They're going down in history as, it will be really interesting is if it does be where the people can come back in and, be aware of themselves from the past life. Like, that would really be interesting. Is like we get to age of Aquarius and we start having people coming back and being born and stuff. And it was the people being born were people who did significant roles in this time while things are going down. Like, because they will all come back. Everybody will, like, there is no real end. It's just endings and beginnings, but the endings and beginnings are all the cycles. It's not really any end. It's just like the end of a movie set. It's like, let's take down that set and put up a new one. And so anyways, my stomach's growling. I've done so much cleansing stuff too, so I don't know. You can only do what you can do. I've done did the turpentine. That made me sick for 2 days. Oh my God, that stuff. And for it to make me so sick really made me feel like I must be full of fucking parasites. But then it's like, where would they come from? I don't even eat meat. I mean, I make bread and beans and cookies and cakes and shit. And so I have no idea where it would be that they would come from. Vegetables. And then plus I cook all this stuff, so it should kill them. And so I fucking don't know where all of them would come from, even if I have them all or have a bunch. Like, I don't know what's going on. And what really freaks me out too is like, goddamn, how is it like we're a goddamn hologram, but then we also have all this other stuff. So it's the more that we in our minds can quit seeing us as that physical side of ourselves and see this hologram side. That is where I think that we are able to relieve ourselves from sickness and stuff. Sickness and aging and all that is letting go of that concept of skin and flesh and blood and all of that. Like, it is, because that's not who we are. It's the character, it's the avatar in the story. And so, but the more that we can connect to who we are, the more that we can be seen through the avatar. So I think as we move into this like light body kind of idea, is that we see ourselves. Like I said, as this stuff has been going on, it started to me seeming like people were becoming see-through. Like, I could see them. I could see who they were. Like, it's weird, but I've said it so many times. It's like you start being able to see through people. And so that is kind of like, no longer is it just the shiny cover, that's got put on the lip gloss. Now you can see into the person and what they really are, who they really are. And so that is like a significant shift into seeing the soul, seeing the essence of who we are. And so that is the same kind of thing as this leaving the 3D idea behind. That is all about with the pain and the suffering and the concept of the avatar that experiences it. But when you pull free more from those concepts, then you go more into the light being, where you can see like, oh, well, that can't hurt me. That can't. It's just this change. It's this evolution of your mind. But to me, it definitely has to do with pulling free from this flesh and blood, this concept of this heavy weight that we aren't. So anyway, I don't know if I'm making any sense. I can sure see it. I can sure understand it. But to try and say it and explain it and express what I'm trying, I don't know if it comes across. And, it may to some people, maybe it's all going to be a gradation of understanding. So, but even if I say things that, I think that sometimes, like, you hear things, like I've noticed this with my family. I'll say something and they'll hear it a certain way. And then something like 2 years later, something will happen. I'll go, see, this is what I was talking about. But it's different when you get to the other side. Then you hear it different. You see it different. Before, you're just hearing some words and stuff. So some of the stuff that I'm saying may not make a lot of sense, but as you continue your journey, things will just all of a sudden be like, oh, I get that now. Oh, okay, that makes sense. So, don't feel down or overwhelmed by any information. It's just kind of like, I don't know, kind of like taking notes so that you just are, it's like creating your own reference material. And so any of this stuff, you just take in information, and then as you're going on your journey, things will happen, and then you pull that information out, and it's like, oh, okay, now I get this. Oh, okay. That is kind of like the golden seeds in your pocket of information. So as you go through your journey, the people who come towards you, you have reference, you have an understanding. They say things and do things that will build on all the other things, because it's your journey. You're on your journey now. Now you are focused on what you're here to do, is these interactions with these people and going into them and then getting what you can from them, so that you can grow to prepare you for your next interaction. So anyways, hopefully I'm making sense. So, but just stay safe, especially, I couldn't believe yesterday. It was insane. I put that on like whatever when I finished. Right now it's 7, which I think it was, I don't know what time it was. I kept trying to think, what time was it I finished? I swear to God, it was early. I have to go back and watch and see. But I swear to God, it was by like 6 in the morning. It was already downloading. And then it always does this real fast. It goes through the first process, and then it goes through the second one, and then it goes through the third one. Once it gets to the third one, it gets to the end. So it'll go through that whole process in like 2 hours. And then it will get to the last part. And it was on that last part for 8 or 9 hours. I couldn't believe it. And there was nothing I could do to speed it up, nothing I could do to change it. And I was seeing all sorts of crazy things going on TikTok. And then we have this weird, all of a sudden the banks are closed. Well, that's weird, because my deposit would go in before the holiday. They know when the banks are going to be closed. And then that wouldn't even show that went in. And so there was just like all sorts of weird things. And on TikTok, people were losing their accounts. And so I don't know. To me, it is it's this shift. We're in the shift. Things are happening. So I'm gonna put this one on. I don't know how long it'll take to download, and I will keep coming on the days. I mean, I'm sure there's gonna be some places. Yesterday here, the power went out for like 1 second. I was cooking something. The power went out for like 1 second. Came right back on. I was like, oof, well. But then I heard all the generators come on in the neighborhood. And so one half of the neighborhood was out of power for hours. And but one half of it, we had power. So, and that has happened a bunch of times. So I don't know. I mean, things are happening. All this stuff is just going to keep going. But then things are going to start changing. Things will start going. Especially if you're aware and you're paying attention and you're actively working on yourself, you're going to start seeing some good benefits come from that situation. So that's when the things will change. There's going to be positive things that'll happen for some people, and then for some people, it's going to take them into their dark night. But it's necessary, and people have to wake up. I mean, I can't believe how some of these patriots are just getting just like the devil's coming out in them. Like they're just turning into the evil clowns or something. It's like, fuck. This really dark side of people is coming out. It's hateful, vindictive. So, anyways, just all of those people, when things turn and they see the truth, that nasty side of themselves that came to the surface is what they're going to have to do a lot of healing. There's going to be a lot of healing going on. So, but any of the people who are already promoting their healing, they're already actively accessing, themselves, trying to work on themselves, it's going to be a positive thing. So I'm about to have another fucking coughing fit. So anyways, I'll talk to you later. Bye.